Will the Menendez brothers get out?
They said, Alex Stone said one of them could be out as soon as today.
So is that how it works? I don't know how. I was going to ask, like, how does that work? When they paroled you, what happened?
I just basically went in and said, I'm not really sorry, but I'm tired of living here. Can I please get out? And they went, I'm fine.
You know, it'd be funny if one of them was truly committed to the comedy craft and they said, are you a danger to society? They should say, all the people I didn't like are already dead, so I'm good now.
No promises about the future, though. I might dislike somebody else soon.
I like how they say, they could be a danger. To who? Who's? They're not going to be a danger to society.
No, I think it was clear what their intention was, and it was just two people.
Yep, it was two people, and as we found out later in life, the dad was the worst person around.
Yeah.
And while they shouldn't have done what they did, it's 35 years, 38 years, whatever it's been. It's time to move on. Right? They can go start their podcast, but I don't think they're a danger. I don't for a second think they're going to come out and just blasting the rest of the family.
Yeah. So it's Eric who could get a decision from the board as soon as today.
And I think it was Matt Gutman or somebody said that they were like, they're pretty much the model citizens as far as prisoners go. Like no issues. They've had no problems outside of like a cell phone violation or something like that. They've had, they've got nothing.
Right.
So it's not like they're in there fighting every single day. So, although which one of them's married and then left his wife, having never left the prison, by the way, and married another girl?
I think that's Lyle.
Lyle's got game. There are a bunch of people out there going, I can't even get a date. That guy's got married behind bars. On several occasions.
It is amazing the freak shows that go for prisoners.
You know why? There's psychology to that. You know where that person is all the time.
Yeah.
You're their world, right? They focus on you. Everything's about you. You are their world, and you are the lifeline to that world. And it gives you something because you also know where that person is every day. And at the same time, you kind of live your life. It's a weird thing. It is. But there's also the infamy side of it. Because you could tell everybody your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whatever it is famous, is infamous. I mean, OJ wasn't short of the ladies.
Well, didn't Richard Ramirez get married in prison?
Had so many girlfriends. But what about, what's his name?
Ted Bundy?
Ted had a lot. But the Charles Manson, same thing.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. The infamy's part of it. But, like, for Ramirez, he would have in trial, there would be all of these women that are just lusting over him. Like, they could fix him, too. There's a couple of them. I could fix him.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't chop me up.
Not me.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
So this will be interesting.
Look at Luigi Mangione.
Oh, yeah. But see, here's the thing. Richard, Ted Bundy, both, they're okay-looking guys. Ted was, and he was very smart and charming. Mangione, he's a good-looking dude. Outside of this, I'm sure he didn't have trouble getting women. But now there's something that goes on top of that, which is that infamy. So that's just it's crazy. He could be out. How weird is that, being out after 35-plus years? Like, and the world knows who you are. There's been Netflix specials.
Yeah.
There's been documentaries. There's podcasts about you.
Yeah. And what was that Ryan, now I can't remember his name. He does all the horror shows on FX.
Oh, yes.
Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy's Menendez Brothers thing was pretty cool. Yeah. Had, not Benicio del Toro, Javier Bardem.
Oh, yeah.
Played the father.
That's right. Now, we're hearing there is an active shooter in Chattanooga.
What?
That's what people are saying.
Okay.
I do not know anything about it.
I am not seeing anything on that.
Possible active shooter at UTC's campus.
Okay.
Is what people are saying. But I don't know how real that is. WSMV is now reporting it.
Campus.
Are they back? They're back in school now.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know if the universities.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of reports.
But no
run, hide,
information.
fight. UTC sends possible active shooter alert.
Yeah, I don't see any information outside of campus is locked down.
Police department spokesperson says it started as a shots fired call. And then as of 1 o'clock, she says police have not located any victims on campus. They're an hour ahead of us. They're Eastern time zone. There's a large police presence. All students on campus are sheltering in place.
Oh, so they must be back. Because I know, like, some schools, like, the Rush people were back. The athletes were back. But school, I know, was delayed a week or two for a lot of them. So I don't know. So,
all right, we'll keep an eye on that, man.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Jason says Ted Bundy was a fairly attractive person. I'm not saying this. That I'm a homosexual. I know, Jason. We understand that.
I love it when you've got to put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah. Everybody said they're locked in the classrooms.
Locked in
as
the
of
classrooms.
now. Brad said his daughter's there. She's a freshman. She is locked down.
Okay, well, that confirms. Prayers for your daughter, Brad.
That's it. And again, all the information I'm seeing, even on Twitter for the places I go, is super limited. Other than just they're locked down.
Brink Fiddler just called, who's
Yeah.
our inside guy with Defense Systems, and he is a former policeman and has a lot of sources in police departments.
Yeah.
And he said that they've got contact teams out there. They can't find any victims, and they think it was a spoof call.
Okay, a spoof call.
Well, see, that's going on today. Apparently, this same threat.
With the bomb threat today, right?
Yeah, the bomb threat at the University School of Nashville. Apparently, that it was an email sent this morning to a staffer right as kids were arriving. And apparently, that same email was sent to private schools around the nation.
Okay.
So there's something going on, right?
That's.
I hate it when people do this.
Oh, I know.
And I really do hope that's the case at UTC, too.
Oh, I do too. But yeah, I saw that today, and nobody seemed to be worried about the bomb threat after a couple minutes because I think everybody knew, okay, this is a joke. Or, it's not a joke, but it's definitely not
a hoax.
It's a hoax. It's not a threat. So I hope that's this here too. What's today? What about today would make something? Is there something that we should know about?
Who knows, man? I don't think so. I don't think this is a day of significance. August 21st.
That is, no, I don't think it is. There's nothing, significant. It's not the Menendez brothers.
No.
Them getting out. This is it. I can't let them out. I'm looking at the Outer Banks, by the way. 4-foot storm surge. The fact that the governor has to go, hey, don't go in the water. That's what?
It ought to be, look, if you want to go in the water, that's fine. Just don't call for rescue.
Yeah, nobody's rescuing you. I mean, there isn't. There isn't. It does show you, though, how big. It's not going to come anywhere close to the shore, but the damage that it can do from that distance is crazy. It is.
Because it's, 200 miles off the coast?
Yeah, something like that. And it's 20-foot surges in some areas. I mean, it's going to be, it's hefty, but it's not. Thank God it's not coming ashore because they've been beat up enough, haven't they?
No doubt, man.
Speaking of that, did you see the parents yesterday? Because everybody's told, redistricting, it's all great. The parents of the children who drowned were at the state capitol yesterday, finally being able to give portions of their testimony because this became all about redistricting. Some of it was so heart-wrenching. This one lady talking about, I sent my daughter there with hope and love and excitement, and she came home in a box. And it was just like, oh. And then this
that's
other
a gut punch.
Yeah, and this other family, they, I think it's Janie Hunt. She's the of the Hunt family, the football team who owns the Chiefs and everything.
Right.
They don't have her body, I think. That's what they're saying. Still have yet to collect that. They don't know where. They've never found her.
Well, when you have that much damage going on, you just have no idea where nature could have taken the body to.
Yeah. And what it buried under, too, because it changed a lot of that, topography and everything. That was just, because nature does what nature does, and it was horrific.
Collected everywhere.
I mean, I remember listening to the thing that got me out of all of that was the phone call from the fire captain to 911 to raise the alarm, and the lady's like, I got to get a supervisor. And it took 45 minutes before they raised the alarm.
Yeah, that, goodness.
That's government for you.
Yeah, it is. It is government.
I mean, you had a guy on the ground seeing it, saying, we've got to get people out of here.
And by the way, a guy that's his job. He's a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the safety and rescue crew. And, they were, and we forget because the original reason they called the special session and then threw in the redistricting where it became all about that and not about they should have separated that altogether. That should have been specifically for that.
I agree.
And if you want to argue about the weed, that's the other thing. Boy, man, are they coming hard for weed in Texas. Woo!
Yeah, they are. That attorney general there, or is it the lieutenant governor?
Yeah,
he wants it banned.
Got to be careful with that stuff, man. Make you sleepy.
Yeah, well, yeah, he goes, they're gummies. They're acting like candy. They can't do anything you do, but we know how dangerous they are. Are you kidding me? Really?
I want to be at a press conference and just look at one of those guys saying something like that and go, shut up. You're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, where's your proof? Well, this guy took one and then he walked in front of a train. He's an idiot. What more do you want? He walked. We're not up here ever talking about alcohol. Why are we doing that? Just that's the thing. But, man, listening to those parents yesterday, I listened to a lot of it because, having a soon-to-be 7-year-old, she'll be a 7 next week, just the thought of her going to a camp and never coming home because something like that, it just eats your soul. And, like I say, I was, watching them give their testimony and talk about stuff, and the whole time these people are just excited to get out there to talk about, well, we finally got redistricting. We finally gerrymandered the system so we win more seats. What do you guys think of that? Okay.
Take that.
Take that. I saw that Trump doesn't have to pay $500 million or whatever he was supposed to pay.
No, I mean, there still might be a penalty from what I understand, but apparently this appeals court there in New York said that this amount was excessive and apparently violated some statute. So the ruling stands, the penalty was tossed.
Yeah.
But there still could be a penalty announced.
And that's still going to be appealed all the way up.
It's going all the way.
I thought that there was no cap on the penalty because Orange Man bad.
No. There was always first of all, and this is the civil over his loans because he inflated his net worth to get favorable loans at a lower interest rate. And that's when he owned that property called Mar-a-Lago that was worth $3, even though the place next door was a quarter of the size and not built on and was worth $500 billion. Look, there's a lot of stuff I sit there and I go, I have honestly thought this. The whole thing with Trump and the stuff that he kept wasn't about what he kept. It was about the way he tried to do some stuff. I think he could have been in some trouble there because it's always about the cover-up, right? Even if it's not a crime, it's about the cover-up. That's what gets you in trouble. But the rest of this stuff from extending, we had COVID, so we're going to, the statute of limitation, we're going to have to extend it another year to this baloney where you had no victim.
But you keep forgetting, Orange Man bad.
Orange Man's bad. That's right. That's right. So a lot of stuff to get to today. Some interesting stuff, including this new poll out about what America thinks is the greatest threat to our nation. And I find this fascinating. We'll talk about that. We've got some fun stuff as well. Obviously, we'll discuss the controversy of Cracker Barrel because it needs to be discussed.
You can't say that slur on the air.
Well, they've gotten rid of all of that. Soon it's just going to be Barrel.
Oh, okay.
At the rate we're going. Hey, did you guys go to Barrel? Oh, my Lord. That's the way they're going. So we'll talk about that. Let us know what you think about everything. And, of course, we're breaking news, and I'm talking breaking news the minute we find out if the dangerous Lyle, is it Lyle today?
It's Eric? Lyle today. No, it's Eric today, Lyle on Friday, tomorrow.
We'll find out if one of them get out of prison today, and should you be looking around the corner from. If you're missing the show, shame on you. Grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Yeah, a lot of you chiming in and texting and saying, did you know about, the active shooter? We do know. who called in earlier? Somebody called in earlier, and
Brink Fiddler.
From Defense Systems.
and he said
That he had spoken to people on the inside with the department and that it looks like it was a hoax call because they had contact teams on the campus and they could not find a shooter, they could not find a victim, and they aren't even sure the shots actually were fired.
And that comes on the heels of several hoax bomb threats today.
Yeah,
including one here.
Yeah, the University School of Nashville, which is a private school. And then the very same email sent to the Nashville private school showed up at independent private schools across the country.
So, God willing, it's just somebody doing something completely stupid.
Let's
not
hope so.
understanding that once you send an email, there's a good chance they'll be able to find out where that email came from.
Yep.
Yeah, and better hoax than actual incident.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. And, some people have said, well, I've heard people have been shot. We have not seen any of that. I've not seen.
And Brink specifically said they were searching for but could not find any victims.
Yeah. So I don't, again, and these things are fluid, I just remember I was driving from Sacramento to L.A., back home. When I lived out there, we were getting ready to move up to Sacramento and went, got the apartment and everything. And then we were driving back home. And when we got on the road in the morning, there was gunfire reported at Virginia Tech. And by the time we got home at night, the first report was there was a few injured, nothing else. And by the time we got home at night, obviously.
And then at 23?
Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah,
So,
that's the guy who locked the doors.
yes, he did. So we are looking. Hopefully it is a hoax. God willing, it's a hoax. Because what is wrong with people? Like, how do you get that in your mind? Whatever happened to just pulling the fire alarm and everybody laughs and we all move on with our life? Whatever happened to that?
And not to be morbid about it, what happened to people just self-harming instead of going out and going, I'm taking 30 people with me?
Yeah, that's
the one thing I don't understand. I wonder if we've done any studies as to when that trend started. When a mass shooter, like when was the first case of a shooter taking a bunch of people out and then offing himself?
That's a great question. Well, I mean, the first one that we remember in I guess time. Well, was it that I remember, and I don't know if they shot him. Remember San Diego, the McDonald's in El Cajon? There's a new Netflix special about that. That was
okay.
That guy killed a lot. You had the guys in Texas.
The
guy in the tower, but I think the police shot or the
Yeah.
state troopers shot him.
Yeah, who was the guy in Texas that? What was it? Was it Luby's?
Yeah, that was
the
there was a-
Lubies.
Yeah. But the first one I can remember though, like in real time that we saw was obviously Columbine,
Yeah.
Columbine.
and that's when it.
That was the first school.
Yeah, because mostly kids that were pissed and angry, if they were going to do anything, it was to one person or it was to a parent.
Right.
But then Columbine seemed to put this thing in front and center to everywhere. And these people who have such hate for the world that they want to take it out on the world. It's like they think they're getting their pain taken care of by doing this. And I think too, I think there's a certain, it sounds awful, but the notoriety of always thinking they're going to be, somewhat in the public sphere.
See, to me, that is the most compelling reason that people look at these crimes as examples of ways to handle situations.
Yes.
Is they look at it and go, I'm going to be perpetually famous. I may be infamous, but people are going to know my name forever.
Yeah. Yeah. You're good. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be, because when you say the word Columbine, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
Everybody
and
knows.
who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
100%. They know exactly who and what you're talking about. There are just certain things like that. But you're right. At what point did people start, obviously University of Texas was an odd one, but this want to take other people out, and it's not political. It is mental illness and
Yes.
anger and hatred. It's a bizarre thing. And like you said, they rather than take it out on themselves or even somebody who's close to them, you would think about, they want to take it out on other people, innocent people.
Maybe,
people they may not even know.
Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural, regional thing. I don't know. But the high school I went to in Oklahoma, every car in that parking lot had at least one rifle or shotgun in the rack.
Yeah.
And there were fights, but nobody ever thought about grabbing their gun and shooting somebody.
No.
And they were readily available.
They never did.
Everybody had a gun.
Yeah. And nobody thought twice about it. Nobody thought, I'm going to solve this problem by going to my car and getting my weapon.
No. What they did was they would fight, and then they'd live to fight another day, or that was it.
Yep.
And in today's world now especially, whether it is somebody who's got a mental illness or it's somebody who thinks everything has to be solved because they've got beef with everybody. If you touch them or give them a dirty eye, they think they got to solve it with a gun.
You're dissing them.
Yeah, you don't want to diss anybody. You don't want to diss us. I'll tell you that right now. Coming up, we'll have more on what's going on in Chattanooga. We're hoping it looks like it's a hoax, but a horrible one at that. A bunch of other stuff to get to as well, including truth. What do you think the number one thing is that most Americans think is the biggest threat to America? New study out. It's very interesting. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. A lot of people are chiming in, telling us why they think society's gone to hell. Fathers not being in the home is a big one. That is, no doubt about that. I think mental illness, we got these kids, though, that just, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. I couldn't tell you.
We do need to focus more on mental health.
Yeah, big time. I mean, that right there is such a... For whatever reason, mental health is started to slip away, and kids and young adults, men in particular, are struggling in a major way. And I think part of it is, too, is because we've never been more connected in our lives than we are right now, and yet we are further apart. We are further apart. There is no connection, right? There's no hanging out in the, with, let's joke about the Elks Lodge or stuff like that. People just don't do stuff anymore. And these kids are getting lonelier and lonelier. And we've got to focus on mental health. We do, because that is... every time you hear about, when's the last time you heard about a shooting where the guy's like, everything was going for him, his life was wonderful, things were great? No, you never hear about it. It's the same thing.
Right.
Same person.
Well, it's like what we talked about last week with the mother of the Uvalde shooter.
Yes.
The mother or the aunt or the grandmother who was pleading with police to shoot him.
Because she knew. She knew how bad he was. People and you remember what the kids at school that went to high school with him said? They called him school shooter. That was his nickname. You ever work with somebody you always thought it could twist off?
Absolutely.
I work with a guy named Randy. They used to be so mean to him when I was in the brokerage industry when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I used to be so nice to Randy. And I used to tell Randy, hey, Randy. He had like a lazy eye. I'd be like, hey, when you twist off, remember I was the one who stood up for you. So just wound me and I'll tell everybody your story.
What would he say to that?
He would start laughing. But there was a thought for a while. Like when he was late to work, I'm like, I'm going to hide by the exit.
Yeah. I do remember one time, having to grab the letter opener there next to the board of the radio station where I was DJing because one of the DJs came in and he was having an episode. He was saying things. He was
actually being openly threatening?
Not necessarily. He wasn't threatening, but apparently Satan was messing with him and actually talking to him right there in the room where I happened to be too. And he was quite upset. And I looked over and I saw the letter opener sticking up out of the cup, and I just kind of reached over and just kind of grabbed it. And I could see in the glass in front of me, I could see him pacing back and forth behind me, and I thought, he makes one move toward me.
And you're going to open
I'm going right for his throat, man.
Well, as we learned through the Son of Sam case, if Satan's talking to you, it's through a dog.
It's through a dog. That's right.
Yeah, this poor guy. He was having a rough time.
Radio, for those of you guys don't, we tend to we are the bowlers of the entertainment world, and we have some people.
Oh, yeah.
There's some people. I've worked with a few. There was a famous jock who killed his wife, and he confessed. I'm trying to remember who it was. His wife, he was having an affair. This is back when they used to play records.
Did you say he was having an affair?
No, his wife was having an affair. He knew it, and
that'll do it.
He taped his show back when that was unheard of. I mean, we're talking 60s, 70s. Went home, and he ended up, I think, shooting both her and him, caught him in the act, and then got back to the station, and the whole time it sounded like he was on air. So he had the alibi.
So that was really premeditated.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, again, radio's got, it takes all kinds.
Yeah, I've worked with DJs who have just like in the middle of their shift. This one guy, he turned the mic on and threw out a bunch of expletives and just left. Just got up and left.
Yeah.
We were just dead air, and I'm just sitting in the newsroom and thought, well, I guess I better call the program director. It was overnight.
Yeah, for the overnight. Yeah, we used to have people that worked overnight. That's where you had. I worked with again. It is this industry has some people. Pulling back the curtains here. I worked with this guy he was a really good guy. He had bad problems, like mentally. He was great on the air, but one day, like the music went dead, and they went in there, and his shirt's on the ground, and he's standing by, and it's like one of those old school control rooms.
Yeah.
And he was telling everybody they need to get out because he's now controlling the spaceship. And you're like, oh.
Okay. Can you tell us where it's going?
Yeah. Can you let me off here? Because I think I live over here. Yeah. There's just he also took he wanted to go talk to the president. Mm-hmm. He rented a limo to drive to Washington. They took him to Washington. He thought the president was in Washington State.
Oh.
Yeah. It wasn't well, Mike.
So that didn't go well.
It did not go well. There was a lot of that. Play Misty for me. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, too. Oh, that's different, though. That was being chased. These were people that worked there. This would be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I'll play Misty for you. So far, though, we've got. They're not breaking in on anywhere, so I think that's probably a hoax. I think we're right.
Yeah, I think the law enforcement. By the way, I just saw an image from it. There is a very heavy police presence there at UTC in Chattanooga, and in these cases, I guess they've got to go building to building.
Yeah,
they've got to make sure they've got to look in every nook and cranny to make sure there isn't somebody laying in wait with a gun.
And Brink really understands the fluid nature of these situations, and he wouldn't be saying that it looks like that it's probably a hoax or that there's no victim to be found unless he really thought that was the real scoop.
Plus, with the internet, as bad as it is and some of this chaos that, it gets spread on there, the reality is you also get stuff so much quicker than ever before because people inside of the situation will send stuff. And I've yet to see one thing where people are running and you hear gunfire.
Right. I've got it up on my Twitter here, the X machine, as we call it. And I'm not seeing anything like that either.
No. So that's good.
So, usually whenever it's the real deal, then you start getting videos of gunfire, or at least, somebody who's nearby will just hold the phone up, record the gunfire you hear off in the distance, and there's nothing like that.
Okay. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed. And people talk about the internet is the problem. The internet plays a role in it. There's no doubt about that. The number one thing, though, so I came across this, and we'll talk about this throughout the day because I think it's important. So America's views on the global threat. So the number one global threat to America, this is what the Americans think the global threat is to us, both inside the country and coming from outside the country. The spread of infectious disease, 50% of people say it's possible, right? Like that's a major threat. Global climate change, 50%. The global economy, 60%. Terrorism, 61%. But the number one thing they believe is the biggest threat to the U.S., spread of false information online. That is, Well, I understand 100%. I understand that. But I think the part that's missed, it's like the same thing that we want to be affirmed. We don't want our views challenged in any way that may make us uncomfortable. And because of that, the misinformation. So remember, disinformation is, let's say, we decide that we're going to spread some fake rumor, and we get it out there. We know it's not real, but we send it to a bunch of people who want it to be real, who believe things like this would happen, and they don't even do anything. They just continue to spread it on and on. I think it was Churchill who said, a lie will spread halfway around the world before truth can put its pants on. And that's true. And we have this thing where once we see or hear something one or two times, we deem it to be true, and it's hard to shake that.
Most of the times, the reason we believe something is that we were brought up in an environment where that belief was a popular one, or people around us believe it, or we've heard it again and again. One interesting thing is this is a huge effect where people are not aware of it. As long as you hear something repeatedly, even twice, the likelihood that you believe it goes way up versus something that you hear once. It's called the illusory truth effect. There's so many studies showing this. You tell people something twice, they don't remember that they've heard it twice. And they're going to believe it way more than something that they just heard once.
And I see that every single day. Even stuff that has, like, if you're online, people will put rest in peace some actor, right? And you go to the comments and people are like, oh, I'll miss him. Never once did those people decide, hey, maybe that guy's not dead. You go look and see. No, because people their first instinct is, oh, I see it there. It's got to be true. And they send it on its way.
That's why you have to be a skeptic as your baseline.
Yes. Oh, that you start from it's not true and work your way back.
And until you find multiple sources telling you the same thing. I mean, it's like Ken and I were talking. His first reaction to hearing Ozzy was dead was like, that can't be true.
Yeah.
That's the same thing when I saw it online. It's like you're looking at it, people are making this up. So you start from that standpoint, and then you move toward, okay, I've got another source, and I've got another source. It looks like at least part of this story could be factual.
Yeah. And my frustration is I like facts and data. I like truth. I don't care. Just give me the truth. But the other side of it is we have now built our world of you identify as this, I identify as that. I want my belief to be affirmed. I'm not interested in the truth, especially if it goes against something I believe in. And the other side feels that way. And it could be anything from sports to entertainment to, obviously politics. And because it's become your identity, if you're given something that may not be true, you think it's true, you don't want to believe it. And even if you're shown the facts, the data, it doesn't matter. And that's a scary thing. And that's why we are the way we are. The division that we have in this country at times is so ridiculous because we're so afraid to piss off the tribe, and we're so afraid of anything that may make us uncomfortable that we find out that it's not true, something we believed, and we take it personal, which is, you got to stop doing that, people. Trust me, you got to stop doing that. All right, coming up, we'll touch on this a little bit more later. A lot of stuff to get to. We lost a judge yesterday, and the judge was so awesome. You probably saw him 1,000 times on the internet, on Twitter. This is one of those people that had the heart of gold. We'll talk a little bit about that, among other things. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
All right, drivers, right now, 24 westbound in Jolton. You got a crash right there before Whites Creek Pike. Over by the airport, a crash on the right shoulder, 40 eastbound before Briley Parkway. And then in South Nashville, a crash reported 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. And I just got some really good news out of Chattanooga. The University of Tennessee at Chattanooga has given the all clear, no active shooter, no one hurt, all clear at UTC. However, classes and activities have been canceled for the rest of the day while authorities investigate what was a possible active shooter, an alert sent out. So this story and more coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
His family sharing, Judge Caprio passed away at the age of 88 following a courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. Judge Caprio would often say he wasn't always so compassionate. His first day on the bench, his father proudly watching on. The young judge was tough on a mother of 4 who hadn't paid her parking tickets, and that didn't sit well with his father. The moment would change the course of his life and so many others.
If you guys have never seen him, he was this old judge from Providence. He'd gained worldwide kind of fame. He worked in like parking tickets, and it's traffic court. And people would come in, and there was times he had like a, like if a guy, I remember the guy was there with his kid, and he brought the kid up to the bench, and he asked the kid, you think your daddy's guilty? And the kid said, yeah. And they started laughing. But he would do things like, you owe $370, but you know what? They talk about the military. He goes, you've done enough for us. You don't pay anything. It's gone.
Yeah, if you were in the military, there was about a 99.9% chance that you were going to get off on the ticket.
And his compassion for people, and he loved to listen to their stories. And he would talk to them, and like he said, and I'll play some a little bit later. We got a little bit more time, but he said, I saw everybody as a human. I never, didn't see him as that, and I think we missed that in a lot of ways. And the way that he did it, and it was incredible. And then people fell in love with him, and he got a TV show and stuff. But they would send in money. So for some people, if they had to be paid, they had a fund, and he would just go, you know what? Somebody sent me a bunch of money. I'll pay your fine for you. And I remember watching a guy walk like 5 miles, and he had no money. He said, we dismissed this, and he made the cop get him an Uber so he didn't have to walk. Just little things like that. Just a different cat, just a good guy. All right, coming up next hour, a lot of stuff still to get to. Talk a little bit about Ukraine. We probably have some funny stuff too. We always say we're going to talk about something real, and the next thing you know, we're talking about words that are really silly. Could happen, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.